Meditation and Spiritual Life, Swami Yatiswarananda. Self effort. This means effort, the struggle to go beyond the thought world we have been building up for years. Most of the people are unwilling to abandon it. They are too lethargic to work against their own mind. Sri Ramakrishna once complained to the Divine Mother that he had cooked the food and kept it before the people, but still they do not even take the trouble of eating it. We always want everything to be done for us by somebody else. There can be no vicarious salvation without any self effort on the part of the aspirant. Most of the so called religious people are mere parasites in the world of religion and spiritual life. It would be better for them to take up something else. Before we actually begin our spiritual life in real earnest, we must decide if we are really and fully prepared to pay the price for it. Generally, there are two tendencies, the worldly tendency and the spiritual tendency in us. If both are more or less equally strong in the beginning, the spiritual tendency must be strengthened. Otherwise, there will be no progress. And the tug of war going on in ourselves can never be overcome. That is why it is absolutely necessary for us to fix once for all our ideal and then stick to it, whatever happens. If we really wish to follow the difficult path beset with so many pitfalls and dangers, we must also be prepared to overcome all the difficulties. If we wish to transcend all the unrealities, there must always be a certain amount of fearlessness and heroism of the daredevil in us. The path of the aspirant is a very dangerous one. Dangers and pitfalls are lurking everywhere on all sides, and if once caught, there is no more chance for many people unless you sacrifice all your worldly desires and your sense of I-ness. Me and mine, when it goes, that is purity of the mind. You can never realize the higher ideal. So, here a very simple idea is conveyed that if we see that both our tendencies, whether it's worldly or the spiritual, if we have both tendencies in us which are more or less equal, then there shouldn't be a confusion. We must put the self effort to follow the spiritual tendency. The worldly tendency will come down and then spiritual life will begin. If we go on thinking like that, uh, there will be no more chance because pitfalls are lurking everywhere, dangers are there. So, if I observe that I have both tendencies, then I must make a choice and make the effort that is needed. We are just like cows tied to a post with a very long rope. The cows could graze and have a certain amount of freedom in the movements, but the silly animals just go round and round till the whole rope has become wound up and makes it impossible for them even to reach the grass at their feet. God gives a very long rope to man, but only in rare cases does man make proper use of the rope. Mostly he entangles himself hopelessly in it till he can scarcely move one way or other. That is not God's fault though. Learn to take the whole responsibility on your own shoulders. It is a great mistake to hold God responsible for all that happens to you. You forget everything else for a moment's pleasure and do not care to listen to what God has been telling man through the ages. Spiritual life, if it means sublimation and purification of our feelings, means at the same time developing our own developing our willpower and forcing the mind to take to the higher path. This must be wholly directed towards the higher life. We find in the world tremendous willpower and concentration, but both are given a wrong direction and thus lead man to deeper and deeper darkness and ignorance. If all the willpower you find in the world were directed along the right channels, this world of ours would immediately become a heaven. The nurse of a little girl complained to the latter's mother that she was finding it difficult to control the girl. The mother asked the nurse to exercise more willpower. She replied, I try, but her won't power is greater than my willpower. This is the problem with the spiritual child also in us. He wants to do many things. He wants to meditate always. He wants to be absorbed in spiritual thoughts, but his mind rebels. According to the Christian belief, the human will is by nature perverse. According to the Hindu belief, perversity of mind is caused by samskaras or latent impressions. These make the exercise of will in the right direction difficult. So, this is a very clear distinction. Christians believe that human will is by nature, by default, perverse. Hindus believe that by its real nature, it's pure. The will is pure, but because of the sanskaras, past actions, latent impressions, and the resulting darkness and ignorance, the will becomes perverse, which is our doing, so we can undo it also. So, Hindu belief is very optimistic, it is hopeful, it gives us hope. Now, these make the exercise of will in the right direction difficult, the latent impressions, but sanskaras can be changed because we only created. By repeated actions, the impressions became strong. So, sanskaras can be changed or even destroyed by doing good actions, by associating with good people. We gain good sanskaras. Moreover, by continually exercising our willpower, however limited it may be in the beginning, we strengthen it. Then spiritual life becomes easier. God's grace comes in the form of self effort. This willingness to put the self effort is through grace. Without God's grace, even the willingness will not be there. The sign that we have received God's grace is that we feel a tremendous urge to exercise our willpower in the right direction. The determination to blast away all the obstacles in the path. Sri Ramakrishna has said, as long as man has not realized God, he thinks he is free. It is God Himself who keeps this error in man. Otherwise, sin would have multiplied. Man would have been would not have been afraid of sin, and there would have been no punishment for it. Those who have realized God are aware that free will is a mere appearance. In reality, man is the machine and God its operator. Man is the carrier and God its driver. One day, a disciple asked Sri Sharda Devi why God did not reveal Himself if He was really our own. The Holy Mother replied that that was because few people that had penetrating understanding, most of the people took to religion as a formality. So, our sincerity, our integrity is not there, and we blame why God is not revealing to myself. Self effort is needed to become conscious of the unity of our being with the divine. When we purify our minds and put our will in tune with the divine will, we find that everything happens by the divine will. Then the conflict between self effort and divine grace will cease. So, when we purify our minds, it means the consciousness that this is me, this is mine, I and mine, when it liquefies and the mind becomes pure, detached from me and mine, when we purify our minds and put our will in tune with the divine will, when the I and mine vanishes, diminishes, sublimates, and it becomes in tune with the divine cosmic will, we find everything is actually the divine will. Until then, every time, every moment is a conflict between self effort or divine grace. Because we think it is our self effort, but sometimes we think, but that is divine will. So this conflict will always remain. It can never be resolved until and unless the mind becomes pure and comes in tune, becomes one with the divine principle.